I will start now, 8 o'clock. Right? Okay, let me share the slide first. Let me share the slides. Has everyone good?
Good, Doctor.
Okay. We must get the habit that we start sharp at 8 o'clock. So what we're going to do today basically is we are on track in terms of the lectures. We have done chapter 1, 2, 3. So I'm going to start with chapter 4 today. Can you hear me today? Is it clear? Yeah. So I will start chapter 4. But no doubt there's still a couple of outstanding things that we need to discuss. There are a number of tutorials that we need to discuss. So my plan is I will try to finish chapter 4 today. So if we have additional time for today, I will start discussing tutorial for chapter 1, 2, and 3. We discuss as many as possible. Those that we're not able to do it, we will continue discuss tomorrow. Okay, is it clear? Then there's still a couple of things we want to discuss. We're going to do it later parts of the class. So the topic that we're going to talk about today is graphical methods. What does it by graphical methods? So let me adjust my writing panel. Okay, so we have shared with you, we have covered the topics that talking about, where's my, okay, it's here. We have discussed chapter 1, 2, and 3, especially chapter 2 and 3 that we talk about how to develop the linear programming for the scenario of maximizations, minimizations, and as well as transportation. This is chapter 2. This is chapter 3a and chapter 3b. Okay, so if we look from the holistic perspective, like management science process is only involved 2 steps. The first step is model constructions or developing the model, and then subsequently solutions. So we will start talking about or discussing about solutions from this week onwards. But before I proceed, there's one thing that you must know is model constructions, like the one we discussed in week 2 and 3. Model constructions for maximization, minimization, and transportation. Right? We do it sort of manually, right? We do it manually. At this moment, until today, in fact, there's no single software app or there's no software that can sort of help you to develop linear programming from an actual scenario. You get what I mean? Developments of linear programming, you have to do it manually. So-called manually. Until today, there's no single software that can help you. Example, there's no software or applications that you key in the scenario, the problems, and then the software is so smart that can develop the linear programming for you. Up to today, virtual is possible with this artificial intelligence is possible. But until today, there's no such software. By saying so means what you learn in chapter 2 and 3 is very practical. Outside means, outside there means I refer to industry. If today they really want to resolve their management problem using management science approach, they still need to develop the linear programming manually. There's no, as I mentioned earlier, there's no software. Chris, how are you, Chris? Chris is not there. 5, but I forgot to remind me one thing, a very important thing. That's why. Nobody remind me. Recording. Okay. All right. I just press the record button. So what have been sort of shared with you in the beginning parts of the class is I was telling you that what you learned in chapter 2 and 3, which involve the development of linear programming. That part of the process, model construction, you have to done it manually. There's no software that can help you to do that. So subsequently, what we're going to start talking about today is we're going to talk about solution. How to solve the linear programming that you have developed before this. And solving linear programming, you might apply three methods or three methodology. The first methodology is using graphical approach. The second methodology is using, we call it a simplex method. And the third methodology is using computer software. So in our class, we're going to, there are many types of software that you can use. In our class, we're going to use software they call QM for Windows. All right. So there are three methods. Example, I call it method 1, 2, 3. Okay. So for maximization and minimization, there are 1, 2, 3, and 1, 2, 3. I'm going to change a little bit. I'm not going to call it 1, 2, 3. Then if not, you will confuse. I call it ABC. So there are three linear programming that we have developed in chapter 2 and 3. For maximization and minimizations, I'm going to share with you how to resolve the linear programming for maximization and minimization using method A and C, graphical approach and QN for window. All right. We are not going to talk about simplex. Simplex is crazy, very lengthy. Okay. We're going to talk about simplex. However, for transportation, we're going to do it differently. Transportation, we can't use graphical method. Why? You will know in next maybe 5 minutes, you will know why. So in transportation, I'm going to share with you how to resolve linear programming for transportation using methods, simplex methods, and also QN window. So simplex method we're going to discuss based on schedule, and it's a week before our semester break. By saying so means graphical methods that we're going to discuss today only can apply on maximization and minimization. It's very unlikely you're going to apply graphical method on transportation. Why? You will know in next couple of minutes. Okay. So far, is it clear? Nobody will repeat. Thank you very much. Okay, so you know me, I do not reading, so I don't draw something. Okay. What is the fundamental component of linear programming? A linear programming might split into 3 components. Anyone you still can remember after a week of break? Exactly. Decisions. Variable. The second part? Yes, objective functions. And then the third? Constraint. Okay, so developing or solving linear programming using graphical methods. What is graph? Graph basically, you know graph. Like I'm not going to take you through what is graph, how to draw the graph, how to develop a graph, how to plot a graph, because you have learned it since your secondary school or even primary school. Primary school level, what is graph. So a general graph, there are how many axes on the graph? 4? Four is sort of like you can do it computer. Sorry, maybe I repeat my questions again. If you want to plot a graph manually on a piece of paper, how many axes that you can plot?
2.
2, x and y, like x and y. Okay, x and y. So now I'm going to tell you that how to develop graphical solution linear programming using graph in general. I don't like to go to slide and I don't like to go to that. So langkah pertama, the first step is refer to decision variable. Seems that some of you answer y, answer 4. Maybe you thought that this is another axis. No, this is negative x. Still belong to x. Okay, so you see, graphical methods or graph that you could plot on a piece of paper is only consists of maximum 2 axes. Therefore, you only can use graphical method to solve a linear programming that consists of 2 decision variables. If the linear programming that you developed or constructed have more than 2 variables, then you're not able to solve it using graphical methods. You get me? You might challenge say that you can plot another one Z. But how do you plot on the piece of paper? You can't do it like. Okay. So langkah pertama basically is develop the coordinates of the graph whereby the axis is representing by the decision variable. Example, x1, x2. Okay. Remember when we develop linear programming, the first step is we put let x equal to, correct? Right? X1 equal to what? X2 equal to what? So langkah pertama is develop the axis whereby the axis representing the decision variable. By saying so, it's only a problem that having 2 variable you can resolve using graphical method. Okay, ini langkah pertama. Langkah kedua, not objective function. What you're going to plot here? Decision variable dah jadi axis dia kan? Decision variable dah jadi axis dia dan langkah kedua is you're going to plot the constraint. You're not plotting the objective function. You're going to plot the constraint here. Yeah. This too confusing. This too be 2 variable. Constraint. Mean you're going to plot the constraint on the graph itself. So you have a 1 constraint, then you plot 1. Cannot be 1. Sure you have more than 1. You have 2, you plot the constraint. You're plotting the constraint for the purpose of one purpose only. You want to find now I'm going to introduce to you one new term. This new term I'm also going to explain to you later on. Visible area. What is visible area? You bear with me first. I'm going to explain to you what is visible area. So I recap. Number 1, langkah pertama, develop upload the graph starting by decide which decision variable for axis x and y. Langkah kedua, plot the constraint with the purpose of identify a visible area. Sebelum itu, remember in the previous slide I said that transportation cannot use graphical method. Why? Because transportation problem definitely is more than 2 variables. You get me? Yang ini tadi saya sebut tadi. Transportation problem, we're not going to do graphical methods. Sebab transportation problem, remember transportation problem, Xij, like definitely more than 2. So tak boleh. So langkah kedua, constraint plot. Plot it. I'm going to show you later on, but I want to let you know the concept first. Then langkah ketiga, only you find langkah ketiga, you find the optimum solution from the visible area. From the visible area, you find the optimum solution. Then find the optimum solution, there are 2 methods, which is I'm going to share with you later. One, we use objective function. Another one, you use point to point. Point to point. So this is what I want to share with you in general. Sebab kalau saya terus masuk slide, you might don't understand that. So I want to give you a overview how to apply graphical methods to solve linear programming problem. So I recap. Langkah pertama, plot the graph using select decision variable as the axis of the graph. Then number 2, identify the feasible area based on the constraint. How to do that? I will show you later on. Then number 3, once you have the feasible area, then from the feasible area, you identify the optimal solution. There are 2 methods. One is using objective function line, another one using point to point. They call it coordinate and point. I'll take you through later. So, so far, overall? You still don't know how to do it, but it's overall, okay. So Chris, again, you are representing the whole class, is it? So remember this example, Beaver Creek Pottery Sandria Bahat. Remember this? Beside Chris, the rest, remember?
Yes, doctor.
Please remember? This answer, okay. Nazira remember, okay, good. So dekat chapter 2, we have developed linear programming for this Potteries, Beaver Creek Pottery Sandria Bahat, and this is a set of linear programming model that we developed. So today we're going to resolve this model using graphical methods. And why we can use graphical method is because this model, where's my, oh, it's green color, I thought it's red. It's because this model only involves 2 decision variables, so I can use graphical methods. Okay. As I told you earlier, there's one term that I want to introduce to you before we start talking about how to apply graphical method to resolve linear programming is what is feasible? What is feasible area? Or what is feasible solution first? We look into the constraint. Example, the constraint. I can replace any number. I can replace x1 and x2 with any number, right? Betul, I can replace with any number, right? Sebab this is a decision variable. I can replace x1 with any number, x2 with any number. Example 1, case 1. If I replace example, okay, I replace x1 10, x2 10. X1 10, x2 10. Then what will happen means 1 10 plus 2 10 equal to 30, right? Is 30 smaller than 40? Is 30 smaller than 40? Yes, okay. This is true. If I replace x1 to 20, x2 20. So what I will get? I will get 120 plus 220. So this is equal to 60. Is 60 smaller than 40? Crazy, is it? No, right? 60 is not. So this is infeasible. So recap, I'm saying that we can replace x1 and x2 with any number. However, when I'm replacing x1 and x2 with a set of number that still comply to the conditions of the constraint, then I say this is a feasible solution. You get me? When I'm replacing x1 and x2 to the constraint with a set of number and the result still comply with the requirements of the constraint or the condition of the constraint, then I say the set of number that I replace is feasible. As for 20 and 20, case B, when this set of number was replaced to the constraint 1, it doesn't meet the condition of the constraint. Therefore, I say this point is infeasible. Clear? Clear? Is it clear? Clear? Yang lain clear? Jangan dengar Chris saja dah. Kalau Chris clear, you don't clear. Yang you don't clear. You're not clear, then you must let me know. So what I will explain here, in fact, is in the slide. feasible solutions does not violate any of the constraint. Maksudnya, when you replace, then still comply. Not necessarily it's 10 and 10. Any number that you replacing there, you replace into the constraint, and the constraint still fulfill the condition, then we say that solution is feasible. Kalau the number that we replace end up the result does not fulfill the conditions of the constraint, then we say it's infeasible. Okay. Setakat ini you faham macam itu dulu. Then I will explain more detail. The purpose of this two slide is give you an idea apa dia feasible, apa dia infeasible. Okay, now we start develop or we start using graphical method to resolve the problem that we identify at chapter 2. In this slide that in front of you, I was telling you there ada 3 langkah. Langkah pertama, tentukan mana satu X1, mana satu paksi X, mana satu paksi Y lah. Langkah kedua, plot the constraint to identify specific area. Langkah ketiga, find optimal solution. Tapi sebenarnya langkah 1 dengan 2 kita boleh combine lah. Ini senang kan. Langkah 1 dengan 2 boleh combine. Therefore, I'm saying that in my slide, I'm saying that to apply graphical method to solve linear programming, there are 2 steps. Satu ialah identify feasible solutions. Okay, identify area di mana pada area itu setiap number yang you replace the constraint dia akan fulfill the constraint condition lah. Lepas tu identify the optimal solution. Let's look into the first step lah, identify the solution. Tadi saya kata langkah pertama, what's langkah pertama? This is so-called the linear programming in chapter 2. What supposed to do first step? Tadi kata faham kan? What supposed to do first step? Anis? Tak ada. Oh, tadi kata. Yes, the X6, correct. So in this case, kita decide X1 dekat X, X2 dekat Y. That's it. Okay. So what's X1? X1, if we remember, I remember correctly, should be the number of ball to produce, and then X2 is number of mark to produce. So yang langkah pertama saya tak perlu explain detail lah sebab ini memang dah belajar start daripada sekolah rendah kan, how to do this, or maybe yalah sekolah rendah I think that there is. Okay, so that done. Next is, yeah, correct, this is ball, this is mark. So make sure that you must select according to the decision variable that you have been defined in the linear programming. Jangan terbalik pula lah. Terbalik nanti susah. When I say terbalik, don't use Y as ball and X as mark. It will be very confusing. So done, langkah pertama. Langkah kedua. Now, I want to plot this constraint into the graph. On the graph. So how should I reflect this constraint on this graph? Langkah pertama, I can't plot directly. I can't plot directly a constraint that we in inequality side. Tak boleh. So langkah pertama, I must plot the line first. I must plotting the line first. Example, I want to plot a line of X1. This satu X1, right? X1 dah cukup lah. Plus 2X2. I want to plot the line first. Line being equal first. 40. Okay. How to plot this graph? How to plot this line? Or how to reflect this line on this graph? You learn in business mathematics. I think you learn in your secondary school, your mathematics. In order for me to plot this line on this graph, I need how many points? 2 points. Someone answered correctly. 2 points, right? So these 2 points, the easier way to identify these 2 points is identify points on the axis. Paling senang kan? Don't identify point the others at the other locations or position in the coordinate system. Identify point on x1 and x2. By saying so means I want to identify 2 point. 1 point is when x1 equal to 0. I try to find the x2. And I identify another point where x2 equal to 0. Okay. For this case, if x1 equal to 0, what's x2? 20. Okay, for the sake of make sure that everyone understand, I'm going to write this. And this is only time I'm going to show. Subsequently, I'm not going to show this again because this I assume that you know. For first point, I assume again we need to have minimum 2 points in order to plot a line. So these 2 points I suggest you to pick. You can pick at any of the location, but for me, I think that the easier way is to plot or to identify these 2 points at the axis. So number one is x1 equal to 0. If x1 equal to 0, I try to find x2. So x2 is equal to 40, which is equal to 20. So you're right, 20. How about the second point? When x2 equal to 0, what's x1? Yeah, I should do this very quick because I think you are familiar. So with these 2 points, I can start plotting a graph. So first, 0, 20. Where is 0, 20? 0, 20 is at A or at B? Where is 0, 20? Sure, B? Anyone say A?
B40.
Sorry? B? 40. B should be here, right? Then here is 0, 20. So standard ini kan, so I can draw the line. I can draw the line. Tetapi I just draw the line. This is the line that representing. This is the line that representing this constraint. But I don't want this. I don't want the line. What I want is this. I want an area that x1 plus 2x2 smaller or equal to 40. So where is this? Where is that area? This line dividing the graph into two areas. Area A and B. So what do you think? Which area is comply with? Which area is complying?
A.
A. Why A? A is right, betul. If you read the book will ask you, pick a point and replace and to test whether that area is comply with the conditions or requirements of the constraint. Tetapi the easier way ialah gunalah kosong-kosong. I always tell students use this point. Kosong is under area A lah. So if I replace kosong there, kosong plus kosong kurang daripada 40. Kosong kurang daripada 40 betul tak? Betul kan? It takes so long to reply me. So therefore, the feasible area for constraint 1 is this. This is what I mean by feasible area. I recap. Saya langkah pertama, ultimate objectives. I erase this one, if not, you can't see. Ultimate objective is I want to plot these conditions. I want to reflect these conditions on the graph. But I can't straight away do that. So the first thing I did or I have done is I plot the line first. So this is the line. This is the line. Okay. I said this is the line. But in the end, what I want is not the line. I want the area, and this area is a feasible area. Feasible area for constraint 1. And the one in red is the feasible area in constraint 1. So therefore, here, where I put eraser? This one, this area, I thought I changed to red. This area is x1 plus 2x2 smaller than 40. Okay, so far, do you understand? 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 I jumped the queue. I think I should go slide by slide. So this is the one we have discussed. Whatever I discussed is in the slide. Then subsequently plot the line first. Plot the line. But what we want is not the line. We don't want equal. We want smaller or equal. Therefore, we need to find the feasible solution area. So it follows the guideline in the book. Ask you to pick a point, example 10, 10. But for me, make our life easier. Pick 0, 0. Pick 0, 0. So proven that this is the one in blue color is the feasible area for constraint 1. Why I didn't go, why I stopped at here? Why I stopped at x1 and x2? Why I don't go beyond this? Why I don't go beyond this? Why I don't go beyond this? Faham tak? Soalan saya. Kenapa saya start plotting graph like this? x1, x2. Why? Dekat sekolah, what you learn is like this, right? x1, x2, right? Why we are plotting, why we ignore another 3 portion of the graph? Mengapa?
X1, X2 bigger than 0.
Exactly, Nazira. Dekat sini ada, okay, alright, done. So next, we're going to do the same things to identify the feasible area for constraint number 2. Our constraint number 2. So the same thing. You need to identify 2 points, and you need to start draw the line. For x1 plus 3, x2 equal to 1, 2, 0. Then I'm going to identify 2 points. The first point is x1 equal to 0. The second point is x2 equal to 0. So when x1 equal to 0, what is x2? Please. 40. How about here when x2 equal to 0? 30. Okay, so I plot another line here. 0, 40. And 30, 0. Ooh. Okay, then subsequently I need to find the feasible area. Now I can use feasible area, you know already what is feasible area. So what is the feasible area? Where is the feasible area? A or B? A or B? A again, it's like the same thing, A. So this is the feasible area, the one in green. Okay, so the one in green is the feasible area for constraint number 2. Or I can write, this is the, I don't need to write here. Okay, make my life easier. This is the one. So the next step is, I have done all the constraints. For this example, you only have 2 constraints. So you might have more than 2 constraints. So if you have more than 2 constraints, you must continue plotting the line. So in this case, I reflect all the 3 constraints on my graph. So next, I want to find a commonly shaped feasible area by these 3 constraints. Area that commonly shared by these 3 constraints. Where is the area? The area is here. Am I right? Why I excluding here is because this is only a feasible area for constraint 1, not 2. Why excluding here is because this is the feasible area for 1, not for 2. And this is for 2, not for 1. All right. So again, I jump the queue. I should go one by one. We're done the second, and then here. This is the area that commonly or common area for bulk constraint. In fact, not only bulk, including the third non-zero constraint. Okay, so this I'm not going to explain further. What we're trying to tell you is basically, okay, like if I ask you which point is infeasible, which point is infeasible? RST infeasible. Sorry? D and S. So R is feasible. Okay. So the theory of the concept of linear programming, I think follow the slide better. Okay. The slide saying that now you have done the first step. You already identified the feasible solution area. So the next thing that you need to do is, what's the time now? Oh, okay. Still good. So the next thing you need to do is to identify the optimum solutions based on the feasible area that you have identified. So identifying feasible solutions, there are two methods. One is called coordinate methods. One is called point, coordinate and point. We will start with the coordinate method first. Then only we talk about the point method. So at the end of the day, which method you want to apply is up to you. Most of the students will say they like coordinate method, but some also prefer point methods. Point method you need to understand in order for you to have a clearer, in order for you to have a concept that make you easy to understand what you're going to discuss in week 5. Okay, and so I'm going to take you through one by one. We start with coordinate method first. Coordinate methods first. So there are two methods. I erase my writing. There are two methods. One is optimum solution coordinate. One is optimum solution point. So I'll take you through I'll show you the coordinate method first. Okay. It's what we have discussed earlier on that those that appear in blue, the area that in blue is the feasible solution area. So this feasible solution area, based on the concept of coordinates, coordinates, we're talking about coordinates. In order to find the optimum solution, the optimum solution is at the extreme point of the common feasible area. Okay, it's at the extreme point. Wait, what is the extreme point? Extreme point means, I like to call it as corner point. This is the area. This is the area. So the optimum solution is at the corner point of the feasible area. How many corners you have? How many corner you have? The area that I draw in red color now. 4 points exactly. You have point, example A, B, C, D. But do you think that any of the point that we can ignore? Theory saying that the optimum solution is at the extreme point or corner point of the commonly shared feasible area. You're right that there are 4 corners, but any of the corner you think that definitely this is not the solution. D cannot be D. Like D is 0, 0, 0, 0. 0, 0 means no business. You produce 0 ball, 0 mark. So you can ignore D. And out that you only have 3. You only have 3 points that possibly is the optimum solution. A, B, C. So what is A? A is 0. What is point A? 0, 20. So what I try to do now is I try to calculate example A. A is 0, 20. So if I replace 0, 20 to Z, so what will I get? Dia dalam note lah, but I replace to Z. Now I start third step. I say using objective function area. So it's 40, 0 plus 50, 20, which is equal to 1000. How about C? What is coordinate C? 30, 0. So Z is equal to, it's in the slides, but I don't want to solve. I don't like. Z is equal to 40. I replace to Z, 30 plus 50, 0. So Z equal to, okay, there's another point here that I know to calculate B. So B, what's B? This is not the actual graph, so you have to read for the graph what's B. So what I'm going to do is I look into the next slide to see what is B. 24.8. Okay, 24.8. 20. If you really refer to the scale, 24.8. So B is 24.8. Why I know 24.8? If this is the graph that plotted by you manually, you should be able to identify it, 24.8. So if B is 24.8, what is Z? 40, 24 plus 58. Berapa? Try to calculate, someone. Quiet, very quiet. So quiet. Sorry, 13, 15. Bear with me. I need to drink more water. 30, 16. So what is our objective for this linear programming? Maximization or minimization? Maximization, is that? Okay, let me change the color of the pen. The objective is maximization. Dan kita dah dapat 3. Dekat B, kita dapat 1360. Dekat A, kita dapat 1000. Dekat B, kita dapat 1200. So which one is the maximum? Which one is maximum? A, B, C? B. So what does it mean by B? So B is a solution. So what is the solution? The solution is B. No, this is a common mistake students make in exam and test. You calculate 1000, 1200, 1360. Then you stop there. You stop there. No, you need to explain the basic solution. What's the basic solution? The basic solution is the solution for this linear programming is produce 24 ball and produce 8 mark. With this product mix with these combinations of quantity, you're going to have the profits of 1360. This is what we call basic solutions. Basic solution. Graphical method is going to tell you basic solution plus blah 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 blah. This blah 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 I'm going to explain to you the week 5. Today we're only talking about basic solutions. So you see, you've done already. You help this company to identify the basic solution, whereby you can tell the company with the constraint that you have, that to optimize or to maximize your profits, you should produce 24 ball and 8 mark. And by producing 24 ball and 8 marks, you're going to have a profit of 1360. Is it clear? Yeah. What do you think? This linear programming, is it interesting? Oh, you have to say yes, because you're right in front of me. But for me, I tell you, this is really very practical. The one that we're discussing here basically is only involve two variables. In real life, when I say real life, I mean in the industry, the decision variable is more than that. From a tutorial, you will know in fact, decision variable always more than that. So you see, by using linear programming, you convert the problem into a formula, or I don't call it formula, into a linear programming, and then you can solve it. And the solution is very practical. So that's why it's commonly used in the industry. By saying so, kita stop recording. So we've done maximizations. Tapi saya belum tunjuk slide semua. Okay. This is, saya dah discuss tadi lah semua. So this optimal, you have to find the 3 point. 3 point. This is the method kita panggil dia coordinate methods. You find the solution of Z. Number one, you identify the extreme point. Identify the extreme point. Then subsequently, you calculate the Z. Kira yang Z. Then from Z, you identify the maximum Z. Okay, done. Hey, I should not stop recording. There's one more. Alamak, never mind. So I break the recording into two. Okay. Why did you stop recording just now? Okay, so continue from the previous discussion. Now I'm going to take you through the second method of finding the optimal solution. And this method is called optimal solution point method. These solutions involve to reflect the objective line on the graph. Apa maksud dia? You see, instead of identify the 3 point, the 3 point method is okay, but the 3 point method, you have to calculate, you have to identify the point by point, you have to calculate Z for each point. So there's another method that you don't need to calculate. You don't need to identify the coordinate for the extreme corner point. You also not required to calculate the Z value for each point. But what you need to do is you need to plot this line on the graph. How to plot this line on this graph? How to plot this line on this graph? Can we do it? We can't, right? Because this is Z. Z is no number. No number, how are you going to plot? So the method is like this. Step number one. Now we are at the second, we're talking about the second method optimization. Step number one. Between the visible area, find any of the point. Again, to plot this line, this is a line, this is not the area, equal is a line. To plot a line, you need to have 2 points. So number one, I cari any of the point in the visible area. Again, I will advise you pick the point on the axis. So example, I pick this point. Why this point? Why this point? 20 what? 20, 0 or 0, 20? 0, 20. 20, 0. This is a common mistake. That's why I keep on asking. So I pick 20, 0. Step number one, pilih mana-mana point. Selagi point itu dekat blue color dah okay. Tetapi, saja cadang, pick point that on the axis. Make your life easy. Langkah pertama, pick a point. Langkah kedua, ganti the value into the objective function untuk dapatkan Z. So langkah kedua, dia ada dekat slide tapi I don't like. 40, 20, plus 50, then kosong. So saya dapat berapa? 800 kan? Okay, 800. 800, sorry. 800. So langkah ketiga, the third step is I already found the first point. I want to find the second point. So always do the practice. The first point, you consider x2 equal to 0. Then the third point, make our life easy. Make x1 equal to 0 and then try to find what is the x2. And from step number 2, we know that z equal to 800. Right? So you can put z equal to 800. 800. Bear in mind, because I pick 20, 0, I get 800 now. If you pick 10, 0, then you will get different number, not 800. Nothing wrong. You can pick 15, 0, you will get another number. The 800 is derived, or we end up with 800 because I picked 20, 0. So 800 equal to 40. X1 equal to 0 now. Then this is x2. So what is x2? So x2 is equal to 800 divided by 50, which is equal to 16, is it? Is it 16? 16. Okay, so 16. Now, I can draw this line. Again, I want to remind, tak semesti 800, it depends on which point you pick. Then I draw a line of, what is that? 20 and 16, maybe here. I draw this line. Dotted line here. Okay. Oh. So, whatever yang tadi saya explain ada dalam slide. Sama saja, siapa pick 800, I think. Okay, semua ada. I'm not going to repeat. Select any point within the feasible area. Example, saya pilih 20, 0 lah. Then replace, substitute, okay, replace. Dapat 800. Then find second point, dapat 16. Okay, then I draw the line. Okay, now, what I'm going to do is, you see, I'm going to move this line outwards. I want to move this line outwards because this, and the last point that touched by this line is the optimum solution. Faham tak? Point ni saya gerak in parallel with the same, in parallel macam ni lah. Saya gerak. The last point that touched by the line before leaving the area, the feasible area, that point is the optimum solution area. Is it clear? Anis, okay, Anis clear? Ini dah tak ada lah. Is that clear?
Clear, Doctor.
Okay, so this is another method. So more the student don't like is that, you see when I move the line, like I didn't stop here. When the line reached here, why I didn't stop? It's because this is not the last point. When the line reached here, I didn't stop because this is not the last point. So I continue moving the line until the end. Oh, this is the last point. Therefore, this is the point for the optimum solutions. And from there, from early on, we know this is 20. What is that? 24. What is that? I can't remember. 24.8, is it?
24.8.
24.8. 8. All right. So this is the optimum point. And then again, you'll get the same answer. This method, we call point methods. Point methods, some of the students don't like because it's a bit lecture. You need to draw the line. But I want to explain this is because in chapter 5, you must understand this concept. Then you have it will be easier for you to understand chapter 5, this concept. Okay. So as I told you, you can pick other point, but most likely I'm not going to pick the point outside. This one maybe not valid. In the book also, the book saying that you can pick this point, but maybe no. I can pick 10, I can pick 5, I can pick 15. You will end up with different constant number lah. Okay. By saying so, we end sort of like maximization. No? Now there's one tutorial you need to do. You need to do this. Then we're going to discuss next week. So I will continue on minimization. Is it okay for you? Oh, the 8:45. I need to speak already. Yeah, senang lah. So the way that I not say the way, okay lah, maybe the way that they I made it a very simple way. So remember this model, remember this problem, the barrier, the fertilizer problem, remember? Super grow and crop quick, right? So the same thing, I think in chapter 3B, should be 3B, 3A, sorry. Chapter 3A, we have developed this linear programming for super grow and crop quick. So this is the formula we have developed. So again, langkah pertama is for you to find the coordinate lah. So x1, x2. Now, second step, what should I do? What should I do for the second step? Anyone? Plot, yes.
Strain.
Plot. Plot which one? Plot the constraint, plot the objective.
Strain.
Nobody want to answer that. Why? Okay, then we start the first one. How should I plot this? I'm going to identify 2 points. I need to put the equal, equal. Okay, I write for you. No, I don't want to write. So the first point, the second point. So the first point, if x1 equal to 0, what is x2? The second point, if x2 equal to 0, what is x1? Okay, done. The second. I write. Oh, okay. I decided to use different color letter, easy. Use different color letter. Okay, let's plot the first one first. Let me show the first one. The first one is 0, 4. And? Am I right? So which one is the feasible area? A or B? A or B?
B.
If you're not so sure, use the same method I told you. Replace 0. 0, 0. 0 bigger than 16? No. Okay, so this is not the feasible area. The feasible area is here. The feasible area is here. No, until the end. Until the end. Until the end. Oh, but it's okay. Until the end there. Okay, now until the second one. Using whatever color. The second one is 4 x1 plus 3 x2 equal to 24. In this case, if x1 is 0, x2, sorry? Huh? I can't hear. 8, correct. How about here? 6. So it's 0, 8. And 6, 0. Ooh, my line. So again, the feasible area. Where is the feasible area? Here, right? Okay, so the feasible area is here. Here. Okay. How about the area that commonly shared by these two constraints? I must stop here, right? I cannot go further, right? Because if I go further, the area is only red color, not blue. So here, I must stop because this area is blue, not red. So the commonly shared area is only up to here. So these are the commonly shared area. Okay. So my sketch not so good today. Here, this is the feasible solution area. Okay. Oh, this slide I didn't show how to calculate it, but it's okay because we are recording. You can record it. So you can use point methods. Point method is the same thing. Point by point method. So example, in this case, you have 8008 48 4.8 1.6. Any questions before I proceed? I waiting for one question. That as a student, if I'm a student, I'm going to ask a lecturer. Any question? Wah, saya dah 1 minggu, I forgotten your name lah. Heather, any question you want to ask me? Based on whatever that appear on the screen now. I expect one question from you all. If this is finance, then Chris, any questions? Anis, any question? Tak ada? Oh, nothing. This point. Yeah, 4.8, 1.6. In graph paper, you can't get the number, right? Okay. Yeah, don't worry. People that Chris, I think he know me. And not only Chris, whoever that with me for 3 semesters. That purely refer to the graph. If you graph plot manually. So if your graph, you draw the line here, you write it, 4.5, 1.5. For me, it's okay. No problem. If your graph showing this 5, then you write it 5 and 1.5. For me, it's also okay. For me, it's I want you to do a correct step. So I don't go to such extent that want to be 4.8, 1.6. So don't worry about it. Okay, now, once you have the 3 point, what are you going to do next? You have to test. You have to replace into yes, objective function. So if I replace the objective function, I get this. Number 1, point A, I get Z24. Point B, Z33.6. Point C, Z48. So which one is the optimal solution? Which one? A, B, C?
E.
C. C. Oh, kena tipu siapa jawab C.
Minimize.
sebab tadi maximization dia will say C, but now minimization. So the optimal solution is Z. Z, right? Z equal to 24, which is A. The optimal solution is A. But we want to minimize the cost. Remember, we want to minimize the cost of purchasing the fertilizer. So what is the conclusion of this? Jangan letak macam tu dan stop lah. So the solution for this is you're going to propose to the company, don't buy any super grow. Don't buy super grow. Buy 8 bag of quick crop. Is it crop crop or quick crop? Crop crop is it? Buy 8 bag of crop crips. Don't buy any super grow. By doing that, the farmer is able to comply with the requirements of the constraint or the land, and the cost of purchasing 8 bags of concrete is 24. So it's very practical, I think. Very, very practical. No doubt you also can use optimization line. You can plot. In this case example, we choose 4 and 8, or you can choose even higher. But bear in mind, if you are choosing, if me, I would choose something like a line here, a line here. Then in optimization, we are moving outwards. Optimization is moving outwards, and the last point that we leave is optimum solutions. For minimization, is you're moving downwards. You're moving downward until the last point that you touch. Okay, that is the optimum solution. You're moving down until the last point that you touch before leaving the area. Okay, so the only difference between maximization and minimization is maximization moving upwards, minimization moving downwards. And then the way how to develop this line exactly same as what I explained to you in the slide of optimizations. Ada soalan? Ada soalan? Are you still there, by the way? Hello, are you? Yeah,
Yes, sir.
quiet. There's one tutorial 12. Okay. Before we look into the so-called tutorial for the previous chapter, there's another few slides we need to cover. So you try to do tutorial 12. Graphical methods, there are few special cases of graphical methods that I'm going to explain to you. So nothing is perfect in life, right? So graphical approach is the same thing. You might end up with these three scenario or conditions that which is you're not able to identify the optimal solution. So number one is multiple optimal solution. This one, you see, this one, which one is optimal solution? B and C. In fact, not only B and C, no. In fact, not only B and C. Any point that fall under this line, optimal solution. Optimal solutions. You see, why? Why? Press the wrong button, is it? Still there? Oh, okay, dah hilang. Let me erase this one first. Remember the second method that I explained to you, the optimal solution using the point method. Using the point method means you draw a objective function line. You draw objective function line. Then you're moving outward. The last point that you touch is the point for optimal solution. However, there'll be cases that there's no single last point. Before you leaving the area of visible area, you're touching 2 points. You're touching 2 points. Mean the optimal solution can be B, can be C, can be any point between B and C. Do you think this is good or bad? Do you think this is good or bad? This type of scenario, do you think is good or bad? Tolonglah jawab. Sorry, good. Why good? Depend. Zarifah? Zafira? Good or bad?
Maybe good.
Maybe good. Why good? Jawapan dia betul. Good. Why? Kalau dekat kilang dulu, Zafira kalau dulu dekat kilang kan, kalau solution saya dapat macam ni kan, happy gila. Why? It's because like this, is it? Your answer is correct. What does it mean? Example here. Example, the previous solution. If the solution is only B, means if I'm the production manager. Okay. In order for better understanding, I go back to the one. Wait. Here. If this is the optimal solution, if I'm the production manager for this company, nightmare for me, I must make sure that every day I have to produce 24 and 8. If I produce 23 and 8, my boss will marah. If I produce 7:24, also cannot. I only have single target I need to hit 24 and 8. So my job will be under pressure. You see, I have to control my resources properly. However, if my company linear programming solution is a multiple optimal solution model, whereby there are numbers of solutions that I still will produce the same profit. I can produce 24 ball 8 mark. I can produce 30 without producing 30 ball without producing mark. I even can produce, example, 29 ball and then maybe certain quantity of mark. I got multiple solutions. So as a production manager, I got number of options that I can arrange my production. So from industry perspective, this is something that we wish to have. So this is good. So ultimately, we want something like this. Okay. The second condition, the second scenario is like this. Remember, the process is we develop linear programming, then followed by finding the feasible solutions. As I told you in the first slide, linear programming developments all are done manually. So if you have made a mistake in developing linear programming, it will end out that you will define a constraint that the feasible area is not common to the rest of feasible area. You get what I mean? You have a feasible area for a constraint, this constraint, and this feasible area is out of the boundary of the rest of the feasible area. Kalau macam ini, you don't have a common feasible area for all constraints. If you don't have the common feasible area for all constraints, then there is no optimum solution. This is the one that we call a linear programming that with infeasible solution. There's no solution for that. So you have to sort of change the constraint. You have to overcome this constraint. So you have to find a way to overcome this constraint, make it no more become constraint. Only you can pause it. Is it clear? Chris, is it clear? The third one is a very tiring. The third one is a linear programming that you use objective function, you move forward, outward, but there's no ending. The door is open, the door is not closed. There's no border here. You keep on moving your constraint line, but there's no last point that you touch. Why? It's because the linear programming that you develop is not bounded. It's either open in such a way, there's no door closed at this place. So your objective function keep on moving, unbounded. So if this is the case, you have to find a constraint, which is to close the feasible area, either this constraint or this constraint or whatever constraint. Okay, so that is the three condition. Unbounded, your project, I give you a clue. Your project is unbounded, then you have to you have to develop few constraints to close your constraint. Okay, so that's it. Oh, okay. I stop recording now. All right, so we done the graphical methods for optimization, for maximization, minimization. I was telling you just now, like the project that we're going to discuss maybe tomorrow. Anyone take a snapshot now? The project that we're going to discuss either tomorrow or today, maybe not like tomorrow, is the unbounded. The originally is unbounded. Then originally, if you just follow my instruction, you will get this. So it's for you to find another few constraints to cross the boundary. Okay. Any question before we look into the tutorial solutions for the previous chapter? Are you still there? Boring lah. Nobody respond to me. Let's start with the first topic. Not every one of you submitted a tutorial. I give chance for first time because last week I was also not around. Crazy the whole week. Tutorial. Where's my tutorial solution? What appears on your screen now, Chris? This is tutorial 1. This is tutorial 1. Okay, start with who? Who should I ask? Any volunteer? Yeah, who is the volunteer? Please. Okay. Who? Okay, how many variable how many decision variable for this exam, for this tutorial? How many decision variable?
2,
What are the two? What are the two? Yes, you can get this from the first sentence. This company is producing two models of furniture, product A and product A with my pen. Product A and product B. So therefore, there are two decision variables. The solution, in fact, is in e-learning, but I hide it. So I will show after the. So there are two. You're right. So number unit of product. Okay. So how many constraints? How many constraints that we have in this solution? Okay, two constraints. The first, Chris, you start with the easy one. Okay, later I ask other people. What are the two constraints? What are the two constraints? Okay. So my suggestion will be, one, you identify the decision variable, make this table. Because Chris identified there are two constraints, which is wood and weaker. So it's also good to add in the, I forgot to ask you, this is maximization or minimization? Why? Because it's under the chapter of maximization. Do you know, I purposely put one question, it's not maximization. Why maximization? Yes, exactly. Your answer is perfect. Profit. Okay. I give you a clue. Maybe I've done all the tutorial. Out of the 5 tutorial, 1 is not maximization. Maybe. Okay, so maximization. So I work out this table. So next, what you need to do is you must, once you have this table, I would suggest you to do in this way. It means you go through the question again and fill in the number. And you close whatever number that you have filled in. Example, there's no number here. Okay, product A require 8 box fix. Product A, which is X1, require 8. So keep as a habit. Always keep a habit. 8 dah isi, cancel. There's of wood and 2 pound of wicker. 2. And then don't forget to get the unit written there. It's difficult for me to write that one. Okay. There's next. Continue reading. Ini cara dia dah baca, lepas ada table baca dan make sure semua number itu transfer kepada table. Product B requires 6. Cancel 6. In order, then 6 pound. Then ini senang lah soalan ni. There are 2,000 box feet of wood. 2,000. There's 1,000. Turun tulisan. Product A earns a profit of 30. Product A, and then product B. Okay. Then can I directly refer to the table and work out the linear programming? Why you say yes? It's because the units are the next thing I want to develop to become a linear programming. So the thing before I use this data, before I use the data in the table to develop linear programming, the last thing I must check, fit. Oh, ini salah je, salah tulis. Then pound. Okay, unit semua sama. So I can use this as a I can use this lah. Then I can start Euler. You see? Maximization tadi, tapi lebih baik tambah Z dekat sini. Maximization. Then 30 x1, 40 x2. Okay. Then I should ask you, but I forgotten to ask. Here is must use smaller or equal. Why smaller or equal? It's because this is resources the variable. Okay, why we use smaller or equal? Go too far. I should ask you. Chris, if you're answering this, you answer. Try to answer. Why you use? Okay, like we rehearsal. Chris, should I use? Should I use? Funny. Chris, should I use smaller equal or greater equal? Smaller. Why you use smaller? Sorry. Yes, right. Okay. Then your answer is correct. Answer Chris itu betul. Don't answer me in the way it's about any maximization. Then must be smaller or equal. Not necessary. No, not necessary. So 8x1 6x2 smaller or equal to 2000 ini. Then 2x1 6x2 smaller or equal to 1000. So jangan terlupa nak letak yang ini. Dan soalan satu dan soalan dua. Ini soalan satu lah. So but for me I think it's good for you to put this answer. Okay. Soalan dua. How many decision variable? Who should I ask? Okay lah, I best on memory. Heather, how many decision variable?
2, Doctor.
Sorry, I can't hear you, Heather. Louder.
2.
Two. What are the two?
The first one is deluxe model to produce. The second one is special model to produce.
Yeah, so basically you can get it from the second line of the question, right? Produce two model. So Heather, what is the objective for this linear programming?
To find the maximum profit.
Why maximum? There's nothing talking about maximum. Why you say maximum? Oh, sorry. Heather, back to the question. Okay, if I want you to define X1, how are you going to define X1?
Next one is number of deluxe model to produce per day.
Oh, good, per day. Why you put per day?
Because it write daily production.
Because what? Because there's one per day. Where?
The first line there, daily.
First line. You decide
Daily
daily production. Okay, here. Okay. So take note lah semua orang. Tadi yang soalan yang quiz answer itu dia betul tau, dia tak salah. Walaupun dia tak letak per day. Sebab soalan pun tak sebut per day lah. Dia hanya tanya yang game. Tetapi soalan kedua dah berbeza sebab dia ada daily. So therefore you need to put per day. Okay. Daily itu bukan appear dekat first line saja tak. Kalau tak silap saya sini tengok daily. Okay. So basically need to put per day. Without per day then salah. Okay. So back to my second question that you answer. You answer me earlier. You saying that it's maximization. Why you said it's maximization? What's the keywords from the questions that bring you to have such a thought that it's maximization?
Because it tells us the profit of each model.
Exactly. It's profit. Kadang-kadang soalan dia tak akan sebut. So it's profit. Okay. So how many constraints for this scenario, for this question? How many constraints that you can derive from the questions?
Two constraints.
Two to certain aspect is correct. Two constraint, but what type of constraint for that two?
For the
okay. Before you answer, like okay, for Chris, there are two, and these two constraint kita nama dia sebagai capacity constraint. Sebab memang capacity yang dia ada itu memang hanya 2,000 bob feet. Weaker yang ada 1,000 pound. Capacity itu saja. Ya, capacity yang constraint kan scenario ini. Okay, so back to this one. Back to this one. If we talk about capacity constraint, how many capacity constraint?
2.
2. What are the capacity constraint?
One is construction stage constraint, and then one is finishing and inspection stage constraint.
So saya ikut saja Hazel. So kalau salah bukan salah saya, salah Hazel. No, don't worry. So I put in this one because Hazel said that there are 2 constraints, so I followed Hazel. And then Hazel also told me that the objective is maximization. So I start reading this. Seperti yang saya sebut tadi kan, start baca. Lepas ada table, start baca. Okay, first itu tak ada apa. Sampai sini, number dah keluar. The profit margin on the deluxe model is, so because it's not in face-to-face, I have to write myself. Kalau face-to-face senang, saya suruh student keluar. 12. And then special model is 10. Okay, so sebab soalan ini panjang sikit, so better you cancel these two. Each model goes through 2 phases, and there are only 100 hour arrival daily at the construction. 100 hours. And 80. Macam saya buat tutorial, bukan yang buat. Arrival at the finishing. Okay, saya pun dah habis cerita ini. Each deluxe model require 20 minutes for construction. Deluxe require 20 minutes. Berapa dah? Saya takut masa tak cukup. 20 minutes. Chris, you must remind me, because I didn't look at the what time. Okay, so then 20 saya pun dah set. Mana 20 ya? And then 10 minutes for finishing. And then I must cancel dia. Semua orang, I strongly suggest you ikut cara macam ni lah cancel. Then each special model requires 15. Hazel,
Yes.
is there any number that are not yet cancelled?
The 40%.
Oh, 40. So what is this 40, Hazel?
This 40 is the special model need to produce at least 40, more than 40%.
Okay, yang ini we call it as a policy constraint. Because this is not these two we call it capacity constraint, like same as the first example, capacity constraint. Capacity constraint is caused by capacity lah. So in fact myself, I don't like policy constraint, but a lot of policy constraint in the industry lah. I mean, the boss give you a funny instruction saying that okay, the boss decided that special model must comprise at least 40% of the total. Policy constraint, sometimes you can put into the table, sometimes you cannot. In this case, we don't put in the table first. I'm going to show you how to do it. Let's settle the capacity constraint first. Faham tak? Constraint bukan saja capacity, ada constraint yang policy. Policy example lah, policy itu yang leceh lah, sebenarnya tak suka. Policy itu orang yang menentukan lah, dia menyusahkan kita lagi kan, sama macam ini kan. Okay, so policy constraint we look at it later lah. So Hazel, can I use this number and then start developing the linear programming for the constraint, capacity constraint, and the objective function? Can I?
Cannot.
Why cannot, Hazel?
Because the unit is not the same.
Yes, the unit is not the same. This is hour, this is minute. Okay. So the unit is not the same. You can convert the hour to minute. You can convert the minute to hour. So for me, I don't like big number lah. So I convert minute to hour. Example lah in my what is that answer scheme. So if I convert this to hour, it can become quarter hour. Okay. And then this become what is that, 1/3 lah.
Yes.
So end up ada ni. Oh, mana dia? Tak keluar lagi. Ni, okay. I always jump the queue lah, too far. Okay, so again, maybe some of you converting the hour into minute. Nothing wrong, nothing wrong. You can do that. So only the answer scheme showing that it's hour. So by saying so, I can start develop the linear programming for this capacity constraint and the objective function. Let me see what the next slide. So I can, you see, I can make use of this. So I can, I just show you. This one I think you know how to do. Maximize, but I will suggest put maximize z. 12x1, 10x2, and then I forgot to ask Hazard. Should I put this or that? Should I put smaller or greater? The answer is smaller because this is the requirement. Soalan kata paling banyak 100 hour and 80 hour kan, so you should put smaller or equal. Okay, yeah, so far okay, right? So far I understand. Ada siapa yang tak clear? Okay kan? Tolong jawab maksudnya okay lah. Okay. Hazard.
Yes.
Not Hazard, sorry. Hazard. The red color. The company has also decided the special model. What is special model representing by X1 and X2?
X2.
X2, so special model. Special model. X2. How about the subsequent sentence? Has decided at least of the production total. Total means? Total production means?
100%.
No. Yeah, I write on. I want to. Oh, maybe I cannot write there. Why I erase? I thought to write here, but I remember here there's something that appear here. Special model equal to x2. How about total? I want to reflect total by using the decision variable. Total means? Total means?
X1 plus X2.
Yes, x1 plus x2. So what does the sentence say? The sentence says that the company has also decided the special model must comprise at least 40% means x2 must be at least
More than.
40%. Am I right?
Yes.
Yeah, kan? But saya tak boleh stop macam itu saja, tak boleh. Sebab apa? Saya mesti susun ikut ini. Format macam ni. Kenapa saya mesti susun macam ni? Saya tak pernah cerita lagi, betul lah. You mesti susun macam ni sebab nanti kan. Nanti when you want to solve this problem using QM window. QM window, you have to key in this format. You have to key in 1/3 into QM window. So, therefore, I cannot stop here. If I stop here, later on, I'm not able to key in this into the QM for window. I need to convert into the format of this x1, x2, then followed by constant on my right hand side value, we call it, but you don't. Never mind, we told you later. So how to convert? Then I start solving this, which is you have learned in business mathematics. That's why in week 1 we say that you need to apply what you learned in business mathematics, like 0.4 x1 plus 0.4 x2. Betul. Then back again, I want to bring x1 to my left hand side in order to be in parallel with the formats of the rest of the constraints. So I become negative 0.4 x1 plus 0.6 x2, then 0. Oh, dah lah, saya dah tukar polisi ni kepada bentuk atau format lah. Format yang satu serupa dengan constraint yang lain. Dah. So, here. Yeah. Alamak. Why is that alamak? Okay, someone take a snapshot of this and then share with everyone because my slide didn't show how to calculate. My answer scheme that already available in e-learning tak tunjuk kira ini. So anyone please take the snapshot ah. Nanti pergi e-learning you tak jumpa macam mana dapat. Okay, so Heather, is it clear?
Yes, clear.
Any question? Heather, expect one question from you. No. Any question?
X1, X2 more than 0? No.
Previously lah, the student will ask me, hey, doctor, in the first day we say that x1, x2 must more than 0. Why negative? Can negative? Why negative? Can I use negative? The answer is can. Why? Because we are saying that x1 and x2 more than 0. x1, x2 still can be more than 0. The 0.4 is not x1 and x2. The negative 0.4 is a constant. So no problem, no problem. Okay, if you have this problem, it's okay lah. Okay, so soalan 2 dah siap. Dia dah susah sikit kan. Soalan 3. Siapa je? Siapa volunteer? Tak apalah, cubalah. Siapa? Chris dah. Siapa yang saya remember? Anis ada, Anis. Nazira nak cuba. Darifah? Oh, sampai tanya tutorial semua tak mau jawab. Siapa ini, sorry? Who want to try that? The one, Chris, you already tried the first one. Siapa? Masara? Oh, semua tak jawab. Shikin? Sarah? Adiba? Zafira. Hello.
Yes, doctor.
Nak try?
Boleh.
Nanti Chris tolong. Chris kalau Darifah dia tak faham itu, nanti Chris tolong. Tapi boleh Darifah tak. Okay, berapa decision variable yang ni? Oh, saya dah berapa decision variable? 2. What are the 2?
The number of radio ads to be placed and the number of newspaper ads to be placed.
Exactly. Bagus. Bagus. Sebab apa? Sebab biasa ada student yang dia akan confuse. Why? Because like in all the while, like daripada start sampai sekarang kan, Lafira, saya hanya explain 2. Saya explain kalau maximization, I say is profit. Then minimization, I say is cost. So mungkin some of you were so like thought that this is the rule, but no. It's what Zafira mentioned earlier. Yang decision variable untuk kali ini dia tak terlibat cost, bukan cost lagi. Dia ialah how many radio apps and how many newspaper apps. Dari mana you dapat? Dari mana you dapat? Which of the keywords that tell you that these are the 2 decision variables? Zafira?
Percentage.
2. Dengan last, correct. How many each type should be played, right? Okay, good. Alright. What would be, okay, what is the objective functions? Dah jawab lah, berapa tadi dah jawab sebenarnya. How many, what is the objective function? Okay. What is the objective function?
The objective function is 2000.
Bukan answer dia. Objektif dia untuk apa? Objektif dia untuk maximize cost, minimize cost atau untuk apa?
Untuk maximize.
Maximize apa?
Maximize yang number of people reach to.
Yes, exactly. Dia nak maximize number of people if no more cost. Maximize number of people that can reach by the apps. Okay, so that's objective function lah. Okay, dah. Berapa constraint ada dekat sana?
One, two, three.
Ini tricky sikit. Zafira ini tricky. Very, very tricky. Berapa constraint? Okay, before you proceed, you fikir dulu, I want to recap. The first thing that you must take note is, sebelum tutorial ini, all the while we're talking about maximizing profit, minimize cost. This is not the rule of applying linear programming. You can apply beyond the maximization of profit and minimization of cost. So example, in this example, if you want to maximize the number of people that can be reached through the apps, okay, so that's a special thing for the tutorial tree. Every tutorial have a special thing. Okay, then berapa constraint yang ada? Tak apa, agak-agak.
2.
5. 4, 5. Dia kata 5 tadi kan? Tapi 5 itu betul. 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 Tetapi kita start dengan 2 first. Sebab kita start dengan apa? Capacity constraint first. We're going to start with these 2 first. Cost dengan number advertised apps. I thought going to ask, but it's already 9:40. So sebenarnya dia ada 4 lah. Satu is the radio has cost 400, newspaper 600. Total budget ini dah satu constraint. Saya dah tunjuk ini, tak apa lah. Then the total number of apps should be 15. Ini yang kedua. Dan which at least 2 of each type. Ini ada berapa constraint? Ini ada berapa constraint? Ini dah ada 2 lagi constraint. Okay. Tapi sekali lagi, this constraint yang 2 ini basically is policy constraint. So you can put it here. I think nanti sampai tutorial 4 saya dah cuba nak letak policy constraint dekat table. Tapi untuk example ni saya tak nak letak dekat table dulu. So yang ini kita buat kemudian lah. Okay, now we start filling the number into the table lah. Radio apps cost 400. 400 nak letak dekat mana?
Cost radio. Jangan letak dekat N sini lah. Sebab dia bukan profit. So this is 400. And newspaper cost 600. The total budget, kalau nak cari yang sama tak ada. Dia cost dengan budget, bukan cost lah. So you must understand the scenario. If 7, tadi saya belum lupa nak tanya satu lah. Per week. Sebab saya tengok jam itu masa tak ada, saya a bit rush ya. Okay, tadi dekat decision variable same as the case of Hazel, you must put per week lah. Per week, sebab budget dia pun per week kan, so you must put per week. Kalau tak ada per week tak salah. So this is important also. So I done this. The total number of apps should be 15. Okay, habis apa nak letak kat sini? Total number of apps means Zafira, any idea? At least 2.
Tak, at least 2 itu policy constraint. Ini yang satu student mungkin salah buat, jangan buat 2 tak. Tak apa? Chris? What number should I put here? The sentence here, dia kata total number of apps should be 15. So what number should I put here? One. Total number maksudnya X1 campur X2 lah. Betul tak? X1 campur X2. So satu-satu lah. Okay. Dia saya tricky lah. Dia senang tapi dia tricky. Okay. Then yang ini nanti. Polisi nanti. Biasa saya encourage student buat polisi nanti. Kalau tak pening. Each newspaper reach 6,000. Ini satu lagi yang tricky. 6,000 dekat mana? X1, X2. Zafira? X2, okay, betul. Tapi I tell you, if this is asked in final attempt, ada student yang akan letak 16 dekat kanan.
Jangan selalu anggapkan nombor yang pertama keluar itu untuk X1. Tak, lecturer kadang-kadang teruk. Lecturer dia purposely nak tipu student, dia tukar tengok newspaper 6,000, radio 2,000. Okay, so must be careful. Okay, unit dia sama tak? Sama kan? Okay, so dah boleh start convert. Tetapi sebelum itu, saya tak tahu Ustaz apa yang nak naik ke. Saya nak settlekan ini. Apa dua ini? With at least 2 of each type. Setiap apps ini sekurang-kurangnya perlu ada 2. Setiap jenis apps ini sekurang-kurangnya perlu ada 2. Miss?
More than 2.
Yes. More than 2? Atau? At least. Right. So dah ada berapa constraint? Tadi jawab 5 kan? Maka 4 kurang 1. Mana satu yang tak ada? Tadi jawab 5 kan? Ha? Nafira tadi jawab 5, saya kata betul. Maka 4 saja. Apa yang kurang?
Non-negativity.
Yes. So betul lah. Nanti dia jawapan yang betul, yang first dah betul. Okay, so you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 constraint. Nah, ini objective function dia. Kita stop tutorial 3. Besok sempat tak untuk discuss? I think I will do this lah. Okay, you listen to me. Okay, I will unhide the tutorial solutions untuk chapter. I will unhide the tutorial solutions dekat e-learning. Let me. Chris, what appear on your screen now? PowerPoint slide. Okay, let me share. Alamak. Because I want to. Hey, where couldn't find that one? Okay. Chris, what appear on the screen now? E-learning, okay. Tadi saya cakap sendiri dan mungkin tak faham apa yang saya tengah buat satu consideration. Okay, saya dah decide lah macam ni ya. Tutorial solution memang dah ada dekat sana. Sekarang I unhide. Maksudnya lepas ni semua, walaupun kita dah discuss 3 saja, ada 5, saya show. Lepas tu yang tutorial solution untuk chapter 3A dengan 3B saya pun unhide now. Tetapi jangan happy sangat. Why unhide? Because saya tengok the way that we discuss tutorial, I worry next tomorrow 1 hour kita tak boleh discuss semua. So what I need to do is after the class today, you go through all the solutions. Then kita hanya pilih soalan yang kita nak discuss saja, kita discuss, tak payah discuss semua. Macam tadi soalan 1 tu sebenarnya tak payah discuss, senang lah. Kita discuss soalan yang memang lepas dah tengok answer scheme pun tak faham, then only we discuss. Is it clear? Okay, clear. Yeah, clear. Okay, good. Before we scan for the attendance, there's last thing I want to discuss. Remember we should have our test. Test ni saya nak buat sekali dengan section 1. Sunday, do you have the class on Sunday?
No,
Ada
Doctor.
siapa dalam kelas ini yang ada siapa?
Saya ada.
Ada ya. Sunday.
Ada.
Sunday pukul berapa? Anissa, Sunday pukul berapa tak ada kelas?
10 sampai tak ada kelas. Lepas pukul 12.
Pagi ada kelas.
Pagi ada 10 hingga 12.
Okey, kalau macam ni katakan kita kalau pukul 2 okey kan?
Boleh, Doktor?
Tak boleh. Ada siapa lagi yang pukul 2 ada kelas? Ahad. Tak ada, okay. Next week saya akan confirm lagi lah sebab satu minggu kita prepare awal lah. Apa yang akan ditanya ada 2 soalan tapi nanti minggu depan baru kita discuss. Sebab 18 itu ialah sebenarnya minggu 6 hari Ahad kan. Betul. So ada masa lagi tu risanya nak. Lepas tu sebab saya perlu confirm dengan section 1 juga. Okay. Then this one done. I will update you next week again. I'm going to talk to section 1. Next thing is the most important thing for you lah. Apa dia kehadiran is it? Alamak, perlu login semula. You are section 2. Is it clear today's class? Chris, any problem for today's class? Is it clear? Okay. Heather?
Very clear, Doctor.
Clear. Okay. Anif tak ada Anif? Zafira, okay?
Okay, Doctor, but
Okay. Nanti bila video itu dah okay, I will upload lah. Tetapi you orang make yang tadi tutorial itu kita tak record lah video. Bukan salah saya, salah Chris. Chris tak remind saya. Chris. Tak lah, it's okay lah. No. Chris just kidding. Okay, so for those that scan, okay, so you can leave the class, but bear in mind my plan is I share the answer scheme before we discuss for the purpose of you can go through first, and then tomorrow when I start the discussion, I'm going to ask you which question you want to discuss. Don't tell me all. Some of the questions very easy. Then we only focus on those that you don't understand. To speed up the process, Chris, to speed up the process. Yeah, we must always change our approach, right? Nothing remains change except change, right, Chris? Okay, so thank you very much, everyone. See you again tomorrow. 12 p.m. is it? 12 o'clock, right? Our class. Okay, see you. Okay, bye semua. Terima kasih.
Thank you, Doctor.
Thank you, Doctor.
Welcome. Bye.